No, and I mean, if you're anti-union as a CEO, you're anti-union busting or you're for union busting. I'm not saying you're anti-union. I'm just saying that it seems like to me, as a former CEO, not nearly at the success that you were at, sir, and I'm not trying to defend your company because, quite frankly, politically, we're on totally different ends of the spectrum. And so the irony of this hearing is actually kind of funny. And I do want to point out some hypocrisy about this hearing with the chairman. And it's not trying to get personal. All this information is going to be very public.
What started as a hearing about unions suddenly turned into one of the most explosive clashes in the Senate. Senator Markwayne Mullen stopped talking about Starbucks and turned directly to Bernie Sanders, accusing him of hypocrisy right to his face. The room went silent. Bernie fired back immediately, and the confrontation only got louder from there. Mullen argued that if wealthy CEOs are criticized, then wealthy politicians should face the same scrutiny. Bernie Sanders rejected that characterization, challenged Mullen's statements, and insisted the hearing was about workers' rights and union protections, not personal wealth. What followed was a heated exchange filled with interruptions, accusations, and one of the most talked about moments of the hearing. Watch the full exchange and decide for yourself who made the stronger case.
The story will come back to that because it sounds like something to do.
I hope you do.
I'll defer to Senator Markwayne Mullen.
Well, thank you. And considering the chairman doesn't want to hear any of that information because I believe he's pretty biased in his opinion already, Mr. Schultz, I'll give you an opportunity to finish that if you'll do it quickly.
Thank you very much. So, as you might imagine, we're very curious to understand what happened in Buffalo. And we later found out that this individual, which was hired in 2020, was paid for and under the employment of the union that was basically trying to organize Starbucks. We later found out there was more than one person. And so you might want to ask yourself, where's the fairness, right, the objectivity, and the integrity of what we're talking about here today?
No, and I mean, if you're anti-union as a CEO, you're anti-union busting or you're for union busting. I'm not saying you're anti-union. I'm just saying that it seems like to me, as a former CEO, not nearly at the success that you were at, sir, and I'm not trying to defend your company because, quite frankly, politically, we're on totally different ends of the spectrum. And so the irony of this hearing is actually kind of funny. And I do want to point out some hypocrisy about this hearing with the chairman. And it's not trying to get personal. All this information is going to be very public. But the fact that you can't defend your company because you want to have a good relationship with your employees and you believe in employee value, which we all do. Any CEO knows that the success of our companies are based on our employees. We get that. But it seems like unions today, all they want to do is fight with their employees or their employer, the same employer that is hiring those team members. And that friction causes a very volatile and tough workplace. And if the company and the employees aren't in the same boat, rowing in the same direction, then neither one can be successful. And unions themselves, if you're part of a union, you can never be an executive, you can never be a manager, and never be a CEO. And if you can't be an executive or a manager or the CEO, then how are you actually going to implement the changes that the unions want in those positions to begin with? And it seems like they actually hold back their team members. Mm-hmm. But I take offense to the chairman pointing out that all CEOs are corrupt because they're millionaires. You know, if you make a lot of money, you're corrupt. It's bothering to me because, Mr. Chairman, you yourself have been very successful. Rightfully so. Glad you have been. You've been in office for 28 years, and you and your wife have immersed a wealth of over $8 million. And in fact, your quote on being wealthy and being a millionaire was, well, if you write a bestseller, you can be a millionaire too. If you can be a millionaire, why can't Mr. Schultz and other CEOs be millionaires and be honest too? If that's the case, then why is it that Mr. Schultz, who actually creates jobs and a bestseller of a book, isn't creating any jobs? Why is it that he's corrupt and you're not? Why is it that all CEOs are corrupt because they're wealthy, and yet our chairman, who is wealthy, and I'm glad you are, you're not? Guys, the government's role is to create an environment for entrepreneurs, for go-getters, for world changers, to be successful in life. The U.S. government is designed for people that want to succeed can. We can go out and achieve anything that we choose to. But when you lean towards socialism, what you think is government is the answer and unions are the choice. And if you're against us, then you're dead wrong and you must be corrupt. That's not the world we're living in. That's not the America that we believe in. And I'm not against unions. If you want to choose to be in a union, be in a union. But if you choose not to, then you choose not to. And that's why I'm good with right-to-work states. That's honestly why unions actually thrive in Oklahoma, and we're right-to-work states, because it creates a happy environment and a good environment, because employees get to choose what they want to be part of. And the employer can have a say in it. What is wrong with choice? What is wrong with employees having a choice? What is wrong with the CEO defending his company and openly saying that he is providing good benefits and paying higher than everybody else? But yet, if you're not part of a union, you're also paying starvation wages. What hypocrisy? What bias? Chairman, you are chair of the Health, Education, Labor, and Pension Committee. We shouldn't have a biased approach. We should have what's best for America and all those that want to thrive and work in it. And so while we politically disagree, Mr. Schultz, I applaud you for your success. And I applaud all the CEOs out there for their success and all the employees that work hard, that's in the same boat, that's making their companies great. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, let me respond. The senator did mention my name, I think. And I think you got an all-time record here. You've made more misstatements in a shorter period of time than I have ever heard.
Please correct
me. Well, if I'm worth $8 million, excuse me.
It's all public.
Excuse me.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right? Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
If I'm worth $8 million, that's good news to me. I'm not aware of it. That's a lie. All right? Number two.
Part of public records.
You're probably looking at some phony right-wing internet stuff. It ain't true.
No.
All right? You should read beyond that. It is not true.
It's part of public records.
No, it is not public record.
Okay. Well, you made $1.7 million on your book.
Public record.
You made $1.7 on your book.
Excuse me. I've got the mic now. Number
Did you not
two,
make the statement
I
that
have
if you want to
the
be a
mic
millionaire?
now. I've got it.
Did you
had
not
your
make
time.
that statement?
You had your time.
Okay.
All right? You're not telling the truth. Second of all, you got no evidence that I have ever said that all CEOs are corrupt. I have never, ever said that.
Probably not all, but every time you talk about
then
CEOs, you do say that.
Say it. Furthermore, what this hearing is about is whether or not you talk about being pro-union. Really, what this hearing is about is whether workers have the constitutional right to form a union. The evidence is overwhelming, not from me, but from the National Labor Relations Board, is that time after time after time, despite what Mr. Schultz is saying.
The hearing began with questions about Starbucks and its handling of union organizing, but the conversation quickly took an unexpected turn. Senator Mark Wayne Mullen defended Howard Schultz's opportunity to respond and then shifted his attention toward Chairman Bernie Sanders. Instead of focusing solely on labor policy, Mullen argued that there was a double standard in how successful business leaders were portrayed. He questioned why CEOs were often criticized for becoming wealthy, while politicians who had also accumulated wealth were not held to the same standard. Mullen referenced Sanders' past comments about becoming a millionaire after writing a best-selling book and suggested that success itself should not be treated as evidence of wrongdoing. Mullen then broadened his argument, saying the government's role is to create opportunities for entrepreneurs and workers alike, while emphasizing that employees should have the freedom to decide whether or not to join a union. Bernie Sanders responded forcefully, rejecting Mullen's characterization of his views. He disputed several of Mullen's claims about his finances and said he had never argued that all CEOs are corrupt. Sanders redirected the discussion to what he said was the real issue before the committee: whether workers have the constitutional right to organize, and whether federal labor law had been followed. As both senators interrupted one another, tensions escalated, and the hearing briefly shifted from labor policy to a broader debate over capitalism, unions, wealth, and political consistency. Supporters of Mullen saw his comments as exposing what they viewed as a political double standard. Supporters of Sanders argued he was trying to keep the hearing focused on workers' rights rather than personal attacks. Whatever your perspective, the exchange became one of the most memorable moments of the hearing because it highlighted two very different visions of the relationship between government, business, organized labor, and economic success. Who do you think made the stronger argument? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more political hearing breakdowns.